Hey everybody, it's Father Edward here, and today with Father Edward Visits, I want to share with you about my little visit to Eau Claire and a little road trip that I made on the side as I was coming home. Many of you know that I was at the Eau Claire International Film Festival, and I shared my documentary, Faith Along the Road. And one of the reasons I submitted it to the Eau Claire Film Festival was because it's a Wisconsin film festival. I submitted to all the Wisconsin film festivals. And because it's a Wisconsin-based project, I thought it made sense to do so. But secondly, my cousin lives in Eau Claire. And then last year when I was flying and got stranded in the Utah airport in Salt Lake City, I met this lovely couple that lives very close to St. Paul, Minnesota. And we exchanged contact information. We've communicated. I've actually visited them over the last year. And I knew that they lived close, and I thought, well, maybe my cousin, maybe these other individuals and other friends in that part of the state would be able to come and see Faith Along the Road. Well, after I showed the film and then I was talking about these roadside chapels that you all have become so familiar with, one of the individuals shared with me, and this was a very secular person, not a person of faith, but he said to me, I drive in the Wausau area, and I often will see this roadside shrine. He described it. I knew exactly what he was talking about, that it was one of these Polish roadside shrines that had been built in the Stevens Point area principally, and I actually have done a previous video on them. But I thought it was very interesting because he told me that he drove by it several times over the course of a week when he was in that area for a job. And he always wondered, what is it? Now, he didn't stop. He didn't get out of the car. He didn't go look at it. But it made me think, well, what about everybody else? He knew exactly where the shrine was. And so he looked it up even on his iPhone. He found the exact intersection and sent me the coordinates to my phone. And when I was coming home, I was able to exit, drive about 10 miles off the highway on these backcountry roads, and I approached and I found this roadside shrine in this Polish custom. And inside the roadside shrine was a statue of Jesus and also a statue of Mary. There was also something related to the POW and to American veterans. And it made me wonder because this chapel was built back in the 1950s. And I personally wondered, I thought, well, I wonder why this chapel was built. And when I had visited the previous Polish roadside chapels, why was this one not on the list? I don't know the answers to those questions. But what I do know is that I drove up to that intersection and then it became Shrine Road. So it seems like they've even named the road after this little roadside shrine. And I could only think about all the people who converge upon this intersection, who stop at that stop sign and who see it. And maybe they drive by and they see that statue of Jesus, or is it they see the cross at the top, and maybe it makes them think about faith. That's the purpose of these external devotions. And I consider myself blessed to have learned that story and to have been able to stop by and to visit it, to say a few prayers there on the roadside. This is really what roadside faith, this is what faith along the road looks like. It's not just the Belgian roadside chapels, but it's a lot of different immigrant groups as well, and the faith of so many people wanting to evangelize, wanting to share the love of Jesus and the power of Mary's prayers with so many. I hope that maybe sometime you'll be able to come across one of these Polish shrines.